Dun, 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 dun. Bah, bah, bah. Bah, bah. Oh my gosh, this is already unhinged. Welcome everybody to the Inner Gamer
2024.
Game of the Year 2023.
In 2024.
In 2024, that is right. You know, there's a lot of Game of the Year awards that took place last year. You know, those people, like, they did them, but they're like, they didn't really play those games, you know, because, like, let's be real, we don't play the games until like the last 3 weeks of the year when you got like time off and stuff like that. So that's what we did, and then we waited until well, the games that you couldn't play.
I
that
tried,
you gotta catch up on.
did not succeed.
Yeah. No, I played like one. I was gonna play like 5, and I was like, that didn't happen. But
no.
It's okay. Got a few extras in there in the docket to play through and everything.
So what are we talking about, Brad?
That's what I'm getting to. Okay. So today is gonna be our big, epic Game of the Year event. This is where we go through and give our top 10 list. Some may not be top 10, but we have a top 10 list of games that we were excited about.
See, some might not be top 10.
I thought you had a top 5.
Oh, some of us don't have a top 10.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought you were saying some games aren't really top 10, but they're in there anyway.
Yeah.
I see that. Okay.
I got my top 25 here. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I hope y'all are in for a long
I think Brett
ride.
actually played more games this year,
I played 40 games this year.
but you didn't finish them all.
No, I didn't finish them all. No, I kept track of it. So I got
How many did you play?
This is a unsponsored post, but there's this app I've been using called GG, which I really like, and I've been using it to track all the games that I played. So
played 15 games.
you only played 15?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't put them all on my list.
Oh, I
but-
put all of them on my list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not.
Yeah.
Well,
So
some
you
of the
played more.
games, some of the games didn't count. So actually, I lied.
Okay.
I played. No. I played 41 games. But what I mean is, they didn't count because some of them were games from 2022 or earlier.
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, because like I played like Grim Dawn, but that's like an old game.
beat God of War
you know?
Ragnarok.
I beat. Yeah. So
Was that this year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
no, it was last year, but I
Okay,
did
yeah,
beat
yeah.
it. So I beat
Okay, you
13
did.
games this year.
I need to finish that one.
And that was it. Unfortunately,
right.
not as many as I wanted.
That's about right.
Most of the games that I beat were in the first like 3 months of the year. And then all of a sudden, it just like things went to shit. But it's okay. It's fine. So we're going to talk about our game of the year. We're going to open up first with a couple of like new categories, not new categories, but categories that are just like giving us an opportunity to recognize games, good and bad, with a biggest surprise, a biggest disappointment, and then a game that we wish we played but we hadn't. It's like the biggest game that you wish you had played but you didn't get time to because, we're casual gamers and that's all we got. And then we'll jump into our list. So let's kick it off, y'all. Biggest surprise. We're going to go with the game that, or it could be news, that surprised us the most this year. May not have been on our
Anything
list.
gaming that surprised us.
Anything gaming
There
that
you go.
surprised us, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
We're already falling apart, y'all.
All right, Austin, what's your biggest surprise of the year?
My biggest surprise was Lies of P.
Oh, so the game itself.
Yes, the game itself. So it was like a lull period, and it was on the Game Pass, and people were talking about it, and like I was like, I really don't want to play it, but let me just check it out. Before I knew it, like the story's actually good. The way they tell it, it's Souls-like. It has some interesting, like it's Souls-like, but it's not Souls-like completely. So it's got some certain elements that helped me get into it and like be attached to the gameplay and the storytelling and the way that you traverse the world and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And taking that Pinocchio story and making it like a really dark. I mean, I think Pinocchio is actually already dark, but like the way that they did it, like Japanesed it.
Yeah.
And I was impressed with it. So it was my biggest surprise.
So, side note on that, public domain has opened up for a lot of Disney characters.
Oh.
And as you can tell now, I don't know if y'all saw the trailer to Blood and Honey, the Winnie the Pooh movie.
No.
So there's going to
haven't.
be, it's a horror movie based off Winnie the Pooh. There's going to be an end credit scene that deals with Pinocchio because their next film's going to be Pinocchio. And the one after that's going to be Bambi, Bambi's Revenge.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, that's
So
pretty
just
cool.
just a little, if you're into that dark, mysterious Pinocchio shit.
Maybe like Cocaine Bear, but no cocaine.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's going to be interesting.
Cocaine Bambi.
Yeah.
So just a heads up on that.
While we're on subject of you, Jason.
Oh, cool.
What's your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise, and I have yet to play it yet because I'm going through the campaign again, is the God of War Valhalla DLC.
Okay, yeah.
To me, I think that was amazing to do, and there's still like a good bit of story bits of like Kratos progressing and stuff.
Yes.
And I think it got me back to playing the game, and I don't remember God of War ever doing a DLC like back in the day.
Back in the day.
It's
Wow.
just usually one and done type stuff, and I could be wrong about it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not because like I've never heard of them doing DLCs. They always do like the spin-off games where it doesn't deal with the main story, but it's like a prequel or something like that on the PSP or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, like it got me back into the game, and I'm super happy about it. I'm ready to play through the Valhalla DLC.
Nice.
And plus, it was free.
Yeah, it was free.
It's fucking free.
I need to play it. I heard I got spoiled on some tidbits in there, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Really, I wonder. Do you know if they actually had everyone come back to do the voiceovers, or is
they
this like
did.
cut content?
No, I think
No, this is like a fresh new
Okay.
side story that
That's
they
cool. They
want to
were able to
wrap
get-
up some stuff. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And like them just doing it free, it reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima with
Yeah.
their DLC for the multiplayer thing.
Was it
And, like,
Legends?
Legends.
Or was it
Legends. It was
Okay.
Legends, and I'm just like that's great on them. That's what I want to see more of in the future. So
It is interesting how there was like so many like rogue-like modes that have been coming out. Like Last of Us brought out No Return and stuff like that. Which actually I did hear that Last of Us No Return was actually better because there was also, I didn't know they had like lost levels in that DLC that like you can go through and play like levels that they cut, and they hear developer commentary of like why they cut it. So they kind of get in
That's
the nitty
cool.
gritty of the design decisions about making these different worlds and stuff. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. But
That's cool.
the Valhalla one, I agree, is very impressive.
and it was a shock.
Yeah.
that it happened.
I hear it's great too. I haven't played it yet either,
Yeah.
but
No.
I
I want
want
to go back and play the whole series now. Or
Yeah.
both games back
Both
to back.
games back and back. Mhm.
Yeah.
I started it because I started Ragnarok again in 4K on my new TV, and I was
Nice.
So good, such a good game.
Dude, there's some moments in that where, I mean, especially when you get to the like the northern, like when the wolves or whatever, the creatures that like open the sky, like when
yeah.
you're out in
What's
the,
their name? I
what
can't
that sky
remember.
looks like that would be so cool to see in like a
Going to
high
Asgard would
resolution big.
be amazing to see.
Yeah.
because Asgard alone.
Oh, true. Yeah.
fuck, dude, it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Good shit.
anyway.
So my biggest surprise is actually Counter-Strike 2 was my biggest surprise.
Oh,
Because I didn't think I would enjoy it, and I didn't think I would play it. And I was like, it's just gonna be another whatever. But I mean, I haven't played it consistently.
I was
throughout
like,
the year.
yeah,
I was
you
about to
played
say.
it?
But I played it quite a bit when it first came out for
Okay.
like 2 or 3 months, and was getting very into it. And I need to go back and revisit it with some of the guys on. I mean, they're not as frequent in Discord anymore, but like I know that I've been seeing them kind of play it, but they have like later schedules, like supper time or whatever. He doesn't get on until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night for my time because he's West Coast time, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
time zones are very different. And he's got to wait till his kid's in bed and stuff like that. So like, I haven't been able to play it as much with people, but I was pleasantly surprised that although it wasn't like a super crazy, innovative new experience, there was enough there that I was like, this is just, I remembered how much fun I had playing this back when it first came out. And
So you're having nostalgia.
I was having a lot of nostalgia, yeah. And the smoke effects were pretty cool, but just like the fact that there wasn't a lot of like, there's so many games nowadays that have so much like bullshit stuff added into it with like the cosmetics and the power ups and the abilities you can do this and that. This is just like an arena shooter. You pick a lane, you travel down that, you communicate a lot with your team, and it's like 2 or 3 hits and you kill somebody.
Yeah.
And so it's like quick time to kill kind of thing. You have to stand still, otherwise your freaking gun goes crazy all over the place. Like that kind of stuff was just like really nice and refreshing to play this year. And that was my surprise. Did not make it on my top 10 list, but it was something I
was on
wanted to
there.
give a shout out for. Of like, there was a moment in the year that I had a great time with this game, and I was glad it existed.
Would it be
for
your
free?
most underrated game?
No,
Okay.
no.
We should add that, by the way.
I should. All right, biggest disappointment, Austin. What was your biggest disappointment of 2023?
My biggest disappointment of 2023 has to be the saddest game of the year, Spider-Man 2.
What?
It was my biggest disappointment. Yes.
Shit.
And it is not on my top games of the year. It started out great. Go back and listen to the podcast. The first time we talked about it, I had nothing but good things to say. I felt like pacing was great, characters were great, the action was great, but once you get to the midpoint, it starts to really slow down, and then towards the end, like major things in the plot just happen and appear, and it's just like, what happened from this point to this point? And why weren't things like they left some stuff out? I felt like they cut things because the way that the story just jumps forward just doesn't work for me. And I'm a big story guy. And so, and the way that it ended, I felt like things should have been differently, and they didn't go with. I understand like where the story was going and where they wanted it to go, but I felt like it went against what the character actually stands for. Like Spider-Man's about. Well, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, we might
something?
we might unpack that when we get to the game of the year discussions. I think maybe have like a spoiler moment where we can talk a little bit about it because I want to dive into that a little bit more.
Okay, I've talked
Devil's
about before.
advocate.
Yeah, I've talked about before.
Yeah.
In the latest podcast, I think when you were talking about it, I dived into it a little bit.
Yeah,
but we'll revisit it.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Jason, biggest disappointment.
That's bad, man. Bad. No,
Bad in a good way or bad in a bad way?
my biggest disappointment is Redfall. And I think
Fair
Redfall
enough.
like fucking takes the cake on a lot of the shit because like I thought this game was going to be phenomenal, and then we jump into it and it's buggy as all out.
Shit, I honestly
then-
forgot about Redfall.
Yeah, and that's what like upset me the most because Brett and I kept trying to give it a try, but it just was like they had something there. They had potential for it to be a good, like a really good game, and it just shit the best. And then them just coming out just saying, "Well, sorry,"
Like, there's not a lot of good vampire games. I feel like
No.
And
outside
I think
of
they had a golden
Masquerade.
egg if they could like really like.
There was
Work
so
on
much
it.
potential there. I will say, spoiler alert, that's also my biggest disappointment because I wanted that game to be. I wanted so badly for that game to be good. And
Yeah, same.
honestly, I look at like what Xbox was trying to. Like Xbox had an opportunity last year to kill it with Starfield and Redfall. Beginning of the year, end of the year, two huge titles that could blow it out of the water. They just got the Bethesda acquisition. They're gonna make something happen. Redfall comes out, it's a piece of shit. Starfield comes out, it has issues. Like it sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
and I don't blame the studio per se as much because I feel like they were. Sounds like they kind of their hand was a little bit forced to try a live service maybe potential as PlayStation or not PlayStation, but there were so many like live service things out there, and like I think they just either didn't get the time they needed or just weren't really the right studio to do a live service type of game.
And there was moments in that game that was like actually pretty fun to run around with you and Travis.
Yeah.
And like it was like entertaining, but like it just fell flat and they
Yeah,
did nothing with it.
there were cool ideas with the exploration of the world. It's just the looting and the jank of the whole game itself was like very, very disappointing. And I was hoping that maybe there'd be some kind of like, No Man's Sky style resurgence or whatever,
yeah.
but it's not going to happen. That game's just DOA.
Yep.
So sad. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm surprised the Spider-Man though, biggest
Yeah,
disappointment of the
same.
year. All the things that happened this year.
Starfield the day before,
Honestly, I just like wipe my mind of those. They just they just don't exist.
I mean, it
They're
is a
so
person.
bad.
It is a personal list.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's
Plus,
because
like a
I was
personal it's
so
like a
excited
disappointment.
for
You
this
were so
game.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yes, we're gonna get Spider-Man. It might challenge Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, probably
Yeah.
still come in second and be a game of the year.
Yeah.
Like a hot game of the year contender. And for me, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I just took it off of the list. Like there's just so many other games out there that actually deserved game of the year,
That's crazy.
in my opinion.
All right. So, most underrated game. Austin, what is it?
My most underrated game of the year is Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that game. Same thing that happened to Spider-Man. I feel like the ending was underbaked. There was a lot. I had issues with the game, like bugs and stuff, and the way that the story just kind of like snowballed until like, oh, this is the end. Okay, these things happen, and it's just kind of. I felt like it was kind of predictable and a little like too much in certain aspects, especially with the bad guy. But I think the world they created and like everything that you want. Like you want to be a wizard from the Hogwarts or from the Harry Potter series. Like this is it. Like you get to be it.
Right.
You get to make potions. You get to capture creatures. You get to fly on your broom and have the spells and have different sets of spells that you can swap out and just like go to town. And my biggest issue I was worried about was the wand fighting, and it turned out to be really good.
Oh yeah,
So-
it turned out to be great.
And I'm surprised it was nowhere at the Game Awards. But we all know about the controversy. Everyone was all upset that I forgot her name. Who wrote Harry Potter?
Oh, J.K. Rowling.
Yes. She said some things and everyone's upset and they're trying to cancel the game, but the game was made by people who actually support the people trying to cancel the game. And they're like, she had nothing to do with this game. And it's just like, because of that, I guarantee you that's why it wasn't at the Game Awards as anything. But at the same time, it came out pretty early in the year, and I'm surprised that it came off so hot. Like so many people were enjoying it, and then just kind of like, well, where'd it go?
Yeah.
Like no one's talking about it now.
Well, they
Kinda
are
sucks.
talking about it because it just became the best-selling game of 2023, surpassing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
did not know that.
yes, stat-wise, it was huge. It's just
Yes.
critics just canceled it.
Yeah.
But
It's horrible.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it needs to be in the press more
Yeah.
because it did great.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like it's a good game. I know the next one's going to be better.
yeah.
That's why I'm kind of giving it a pass, and it is on my Game of the Year
Nice.
list. So
I love it. Jason, you have one?
You said Hogwarts was on your game of the year list?
Yeah.
Like,
And my
what were we
most
gonna talk about?
underrated.
Oh,
Yep,
Andy
yep.
strips. I guess mine would be if we're doing that, because this is on my
List.
it doesn't have to be on your list, but
well, it's the only game. So I think Atomic Heart.
Oh, yeah.
dang,
That one I forgot
that
about
came
too.
out.
Yeah, like
It was good.
That was like, what, February?
Really good, and I'm thinking about going back to it because I can't remember why I fell off of it. We were playing something else.
I think other games came out.
Well, we were trying to finish Evil West.
Yeah.
We were trying to finish
Playing
that.
Redfall, probably.
Yeah, and then we were like
Hogwarts was coming out.
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts was already out.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
game I picked up because I beat Hogwarts so fast. I was just like, I want to play this game, and it was actually a good game. It was super hard. I remember having to drop the difficulty down just because I couldn't get the hang of the combat that well, and I didn't realize like how open world it was going to be.
Me either.
Like I thought it was going to be more like a linear, like BioShock, and that's what I was kind of looking forward to. So it being open world kind of like threw me off, and these robots are like fucking you up and shit like that left and right. It's like you're always in danger. So it almost felt like a Far Cry, But I enjoyed the story
yeah.
it was going for, and then like when you did get into a mission, it was just very linear. There was like broken off paths where you can find like hidden gems and stuff like that, but beyond that, like getting to the mission is all open world. So I thought it was a good storyline, and there is DLC out for it as well, I believe. So I'm thinking about like whenever I have a lull in video games,
Yeah.
I think I might revisit. I bought it online, so it's in my library. But yeah, I think
Forever.
and I think the storyline was cool. I could see where they were going with it, and I enjoyed the humor in it, and I enjoyed the combat system in it. So
I love it.
yeah,
It's cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That was a good one.
thank you. I picked it. So
Yeah. I'm very impressed with your pick there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very good. My most underrated game is one of my runner-ups that you guys are probably gonna like laugh at and be like, "Get the fuck out of here, Brett." But the Crew Motorfest actually is my most underrated because
I'm sure it is.
I feel like Ubisoft didn't get a lot of credit this year for releasing two games that I think were actually really good. One of which is the Crew Motorfest, and now it's not Forza Horizon, which is one of the best games of all time in my book. Pretty high up there for sure. Forza Horizon 5 was freaking amazing, but it did a really good job at like kind of bringing back the excitement that I had of like driving around Oahu again, like Test Drive Unlimited 1. And there was a lot of really good mechanics here, and there was some silly like story bits throughout. Like they got some partnership deals that they did with some YouTubers and things like that were kind of dumb, but the game itself was fun, easy to get into, and just a nice casual like racing game that looked incredible and played really well and had very little issues. And I don't think they got enough credit for it. Just like, even Avatar, I've heard it's a pretty good game. It's not a bad game. It's just, I think the end of the year and everything, it just kind of like hurt it. So I'm kind of wanting to play that and it's nice to hear now that they're actually getting some. Apparently, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is like fan freaking tastic.
Yeah,
So they're getting some like good hype around that.
Yeah, it looked good.
But it's just nice to see as like I know we shit on them a lot for bad games because they have made some pretty bad like just like grab overly done inundated kind of like open world games. But both these games looked like they were trying to do a few different things and approach things a different way. And I think they needed some credit for that. So there he is.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. Now, before we get in the top 10 list, biggest game that you wish you played. So this is a game that maybe been a commercial success, or maybe it was a game that, man, I want to play that so bad, but I just ran out of time. What game is that for you, Austin?
Final Fantasy 16.
All right.
Because I didn't realize that
But I thought you played it though.
No, I played it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You played
he
it.
played it.
So that's also on my list. That's also my game.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that it was going for a Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Jason was telling us
Yeah.
that the creative director made everyone in the studio sit down and watch all of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which that already
Actually, I
was
said
like.
that.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I totally did say that. Yeah.
Anyway, someone told
We
us
both
that.
said it, okay?
Someone told
Yeah,
me
I read
that,
it in-
and
I
I
read
was
it in
like,
the feature
"Man,
article for
I
Game
need to
Informer."
I need to play this game, and it just kind of came out at a time where there's like so many other games. I was like, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I finally bought it
Yeah.
this like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get through Alan Wake, and then I'll eventually get to play it. But I wish I'd played it last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know you had some issues with the gameplay and stuff. And
I did. It just felt button smashy, but the storyline was cool. Like I said, it was like Game of Thrones. It was beautiful, outstanding cinematics and stuff like that. And it felt like you were watching a movie the whole time because the cinematics were super long.
see, some people have issues with that, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like, give me a movie that's good.
And then also like even the boss battles were like so colorful and beautiful. It was amazing because I had those lights on the back of my TV and just like all the like explosions and stuff and it was just stunning.
So the first, I played like the first 10 minutes, I think, just to see it on the TV. It had some Lord of the Rings stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Because they had like some falcon and some demon monster falling through a cavern. And I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely Gandalf versus the Balrog. So it was cool. I can't wait to play it.
Same. That was mine.
Did you
I
buy
loved
it already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
bought
has
it.
Oh, nice.
I bought that and Mirage on Black Friday for like all
That's what I
pretty
should've
cheap,
done.
and it's like I mean I don't know if I'm honestly ever gonna get to Mirage, but I'm gonna try
It's not worth it in my opinion.
because
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I
That would be like
Disappointment.
another disappointment on
Yeah.
the list.
I think I would still definitely enjoy it just because it's this tighter, smaller experience,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But Final Fantasy definitely. I'm like my friend Julia, she's like was obsessed with Final Fantasy and like absolutely loved it until Baldur's Gate, of course. But like really, really got into the gameplay, and I watched a little bit of her playing it, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
But I've never played a Final Fantasy, so I'm like nervous about getting into
It's not
it.
like any other Final Fantasy.
Right.
So 15 was like the other big one, right? It was like
thought it was 15 was the other big one.
where you're like
That one's
with
like
the
open world, in the car.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a road
I
trip.
played that and I really enjoyed that aspect at the time.
Yeah.
I've tried to go back. It hasn't aged well in my opinion, for me at least. But I think this would be something more interesting, and you can kind of lose yourself in it because that one was like set like the people dress like current day and they have a car like current day, but it's set in like medievalish times or
Yeah,
something.
it's
And I'm
weird.
like, okay, I'm trying to get into it, and then they have like demon creatures and stuff that pop up, and yeah, it's a lot of
Demon
stuff.
creatures.
A lot of you can't get past some of that stuff. Anyway,
Biggest game that I wanted to play was actually your biggest surprise, and it was the Liza P.
oh,
I really wanted to play it. I enjoy grim story arcs for like these characters and stuff. I don't know why. I just like the unique twist to it. But my only issue is that it's a Dark Soul style game, and that's what turns me away from it. But I still really would like to play it. So
Now, Austin, I have a question because I've heard a lot of people say that Liza P is way more accessible than like Elden Ring or whatever. Do you agree with that statement?
I do agree with that statement.
really,
Do you think it's easier
once
or just easier to understand?
I think it's easier to understand because once you get the concepts that they're trying to push, like that first boss battle, oh, I wanted to quit. I was like, why am I playing this game? I should just quit. Then I got past it, and I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. Like what I'm doing and how to approach a battle, how to use the items that are available to you and that you can buy from vendors that are very scarce.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit! So like you get past that first boss, and it's like game on. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I might have to
I feel great.
download it because it's on Game Pass. And it might be something I need to get into.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You gotta pay attention to what they tell you. Like they're really telling you like what you need to how to approach battles.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's fun.
Those are our new categories, our biggest surprise categories that we wanted to give some recognition to some games. But now we're going to enter our official top 10 list. Each of us has a list. We don't know what people picked, so it's all going to be a surprise. And that's what's most exciting about it. Austin, you said you have 6 or 7?
I have 8.
You have 8 now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
it just keeps growing.
Yeah. So y'all do your first 2,
Yes.
and then start with me at 8.
So let's start with number 10. We're going to go down the list. Number 10, Jason, what's your number 10?
What's yours, number 10, Brett?
Oh, you want mine?
Yeah, I want yours.
Okay. My number 10 is Party Animals.
Okay.
I put Party Animals on my Game of the Year list. Man, we've been playing this game on
surprised.
stream, having so much freaking fun. And one of the things I look at is like, what gave me the most joy this year, right? Like what games like either surprised me, gave me some new appreciation for gaming or whatever. And this is one where I was like, this is something that we can get together in and we can play and have a group and just have a blast. Like the amount of laughs and stupidity and craziness that happens when we play this game. It's not a super deep game. I think the microtransaction thing is a little bit, they need to kind of make things cheaper to unlock and stuff like that. But beyond that, like setting up a mission, like getting a bunch of people in there, like just going to town and playing.
Man, we
And
can play
having
for
randos.
hours.
Play
dude.
for hours, yeah.
Having randos come in.
Yeah.
Have we
Yeah.
played all the maps?
Pretty sure we have.
Yeah, so not with our Twitch stream community thing. What I need to do next time we start is like cut out some of the beginning maps because whenever I do like pick all the maps, it just starts from the beginning and goes down.
Goes down list.
But we did one day when it was like me, Sarah, Travis, and Jason and Matt. We all played. I think we literally did every single.
We did every
map.
single one.
How many?
It's like 15 maybe.
Yeah, there's a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Let's get past those.
Yeah, because there's one. There's like fire pits that you're outside in the cold, and if you like knock them out in the cold, they just freeze and die.
Oh,
and
that's
there's
cool.
So you
one
can-
that's like you're on a bridge and there's water and it throws you off if you're not careful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then there's the one on top of a castle.
Oh, the castle one was
The
good.
castle one was good because it was all dark.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
so-
the one. I like the flying airplane one.
I
Yeah.
hate that one. Dude.
Well,
God.
I hate
It's
it too,
brutal.
but I mean, it's just like do or die. The other
Yeah.
ones you can kind of like come back. This one's like no, you're either gonna survive or you're not. And then the one with the gravity portal.
Oh, that one's
sucks you up.
annoying, man.
You like the ones that I just don't like.
Yeah, because it reminds me of what's the one? Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
Like some of those are like really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to try with us sometime if we get like an even number is they have team-based games too that are at a whole nother layer of complexity. So like there's like you can
Football.
have like there's a football, there's a 2v2 like ice rink where you can like hit the hockey puck and
Collect
there's-
gummy bears.
collect gummy bears, and it just adds a whole new zaniness to the game that I think is really cool. But usually we have like if we have an uneven number, it's like not as fair. But if we can get like a nice even team, like I've seen this YouTuber Schmitty, he like posts his friends get together and they just like freaking scream at each other in this thing, and it's so fun. So
Very cool. Very cool.
Jason, what's your number 10?
My number 10, and I made this list on all the games I played.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that. These are all the games I played.
They all should be
So,
games you played.
Yeah, number 10 is Diablo 4.
Okay.
So
Very nice.
I felt like it should have been on the list just because like I did get some kind of enjoyment out of it. Why it's all the way at the bottom of the list because I love Diablo. Love it. I used to play hours of it. It's just because of their seasonal content. I understand that a lot of people grind and like push through the campaign and stuff like that, but it kind of annoys me that like a lot of people get ahead of you and then they want to help you out and they fucking just wreck shit and you're not doing anything. And I felt like the seasonal stuff making people rush through it and have to create a whole new character for the seasonal stuff is kind of like a debacle, in my own opinion.
Yeah, that's a mess.
And I just felt like they were rushing me instead of me taking my time and enjoying what was part of the game. And them introducing live events was cool. I thought that was a good twist to add in there, and other people can jump in. I thought that was pretty cool. The game itself looked phenomenal. It looks beautiful compared to the last one and compared to all of them.
yeah.
You know, it's just like stunning.
Yeah.
And then, I did enjoy that game. I need to jump back into it, but it just is kind of daunting to jump back into it when you know there's so much other shit coming down the pipeline and you feel rushed to get to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
I agree. So moving on to number 9. I guess that's back to me, right?
Back to you.
It's appropriate because my number 9 is Diablo 4.
Nice.
So it worked out well. So my number 9 is Diablo 4, and for similar reasons, like what you said, you know, beautiful. I think I didn't play much Diablo 3 because we tried playing it like console shared screen one time,
that's
but it was just
annoying.
it was bad shit because you
Everyone
sit there and
has
wait
to-
for everybody to do their inventory. Yeah,
This is the worst.
so it just wasn't fun. And then I played a lot of Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 with a friend of the podcast, Josh, and his brother, Nick, and stuff back a long time ago when we were like little kids and stuff like that. And we like played a ton of that. So I played a lot of Diablo, but I took a break from that whole genre up until Diablo 4. And I had a blast with it. But like you said, it's like people rush through that so fast, get to the end, and then they're all like not want to play with you anymore because they're like, well, it's not worth
We want
our
to do
time,
seasonal
really.
5 now or something.
Yeah, and it's just like that's what it's like. I love the idea of like the live service to kind of keep a game alive, but at the same time, it's just so unfair for casual gamers like us who don't
Yeah.
have the time to jump in there and
I mean,
do all
that was
that.
the issue with me is like I wanted to jump ahead and I would create new characters to play with you guys.
Right.
And everyone else, like everyone had like a second character to play with another
Yeah,
friend.
exactly.
So you guys can stay together. Like Travis, he had to create a new character because he was trying to get through the campaign with Sarah, and so I was just like, it kind of like holds you back, and eventually, for me, I just fall off, and that's what happened. I haven't completed the story.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Me either. I want to because the story is great. Like I really love the story. I love Lilith. I think she can get it any day, any night. But like beyond that, the rushing through things is just I can't appreciate the game fully for doing. To play it.
I feel like now might be a good time to get back in. I mean, we've
think
been
so,
trying to
too.
get back into it
Yeah.
because like nobody's doing that rush
I
anymore.
downloaded it, waiting.
Oh, I know.
Thought we might
We
play.
need to like we'll have
Should
to
we like
get
start
back in.
fresh characters or start on seasonal 1 and just?
Well, and I want to finish.
The
I want to
campaign.
finish the campaign first with the character I started
Well, no,
with.
I meant because you restart the campaign in season 1. That's all you do.
Well, I thought you.
There's other content involved, but you just restart it.
Yeah, but I don't want to start from the beginning again.
Well, I don't know where you're at.
Well, we
I
were
don't
at the same spot.
We are?
Yeah, we were really close.
I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah,
I'm probably way behind.
I may be like 1 or 2 missions away from you or
jump
whatever,
on his
but
campaign.
I'm on the desert land,
I don't know.
you're further than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you're almost done.
No,
No, we're not.
No, we're close to each
We're
other.
close
So
to
like
each
we
other.
weren't.
I see.
You
So
got
I-
further because you played a lot with Rudy at the end
Yeah.
there.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you're ahead of us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll sit down, figure it out, and we'll
Yeah.
play it. Because I'll be down. I need someone to play with.
Yeah.
But I
just
don't want
wish
to
you
skip
can
any
zoom out
cutscenes. I
more.
want to fucking.
Yeah.
You can.
No, there's only like a certain.
Oh, a certain amount. You're
Yeah,
already
you can zoom out.
and
Yeah, I'm zooming all the way. I feel like
Yeah.
it's still too close.
Yeah.
I don't like the angle down where you can't see ahead of you too much. Like I want to be able to see where I'm going. So like, look at the map. Okay,
Yeah.
look at the
I
map.
see.
For me, that's just annoying, but it's not the biggest deal.
I also love that they fixed the inventory problems in this game. I mean, I know that I heard that in a game it got really kind of obnoxious or whatever, but like I feel like they simplified so many things to this game,
Well, that's what they did in third
which I appreciated. Yeah, but like this is even more simplified,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
for just like all the management of all the shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that I didn't have to worry about the making sure the squares and the boxes fit in the right
Oh, that's
places.
so
you know?
fucking annoying.
That's what I used to hate the most. So
Alan Wake 2 does that now.
Oh really?
With certain
Wait, did it?
weapons.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I remember
do.
that.
I
Yeah.
was shocked. I was like, fuck, man.
I mean, it's an easy UI mechanic to like, limit your storage. But number 9, Jason.
My number 9 is Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I usually don't play fighter games, but we had a guys' night one night, and Brett bought it, and we all played it, and it was fucking fun. The graphics are phenomenal. I haven't played it since I played a little bit of it since I purchased it. I brought it to work and stuff because we had like our down day or whatever. A lot of people were jumping into it. Everyone was able to jump into it, figure out the combos, and go through there. And I think the storyline's interesting. I love the graphics, and it's fun. It's fun to play for a couple rounds and be like, all right, I can jump into something else for a little bit. So yeah,
I'll have to do that again sometime.
yeah, same.
It is not on my list, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the story wasn't bad too. It's,
the
I mean,
story's not bad.
it's silly, but it's
Silly,
like,
but, I mean,
what do you expect?
It's a fighter game. You can't really do anything with that.
Cool. Well, we're moving on to number 8 then.
Should we let?
So let's throw Austin in this
Austin in
mix.
Yeah,
I guess I'll let Austin talk here. You know, Austin, what's your number 8 game
I
of the year?
think it was the first game of the year that we played, and it was Dead Island 2.
Oh my!
That's your game of the year? That's on your list?
It's on my list.
Oh my land!
But you wouldn't want to finish it with me, man.
I do. I did. I told you I wanted to finish it with you.
You did?
Yes.
I don't remember that
Like
at
in the
all.
summer, right before,
I
like-
thought you said you uninstalled it.
I just have a disc. It's just there. Oh, well, like other games came out, I uninstalled it, but it'd be easy just to reinstall it. It's not going to be that.
For some
been
reason,
begging
I
me to
had in my
play it.
head that you just didn't
We
want to
were.
play it anymore, man.
No, I kept telling you, I was like, I'm down to play because it's fun. Like the game's actually fun.
Well, shit,
like,
let's play
gameplay's
it.
fun. If you like zombies, like it's
Yeah.
just like a playground of stuff to find weapons and new ways to kill zombies. And I think there's cool like slow mo stuff that happens. The story's like whatever. It's a
Yeah.
zombie story, whatever. But I enjoyed it.
No.
I've really enjoyed my time with that game, and yeah,
Okay.
didn't finish it yet, but I want to finish it.
Well, damn, let's jump back into it. I enjoyed it too. I still have it installed on my console. Just
Nice.
like with the hope that one day we play it again.
Yeah, I have a disc, so I just
Yeah.
uninstalled it and I can just reinstall it. It's not
Perfect.
that big deal.
Let's
cool.
do it. Yeah. It was good. It was, I mean, it's kind of like for me, it's like
It's just fun and goofy. And
it was like an Evil West for me. You know,
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
it's silly bashing,
Oh, man,
killing
that
things,
game.
but
Yep,
had a
yep.
blast with it. But like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the best game in the world, and that's why it's
Yeah.
at the very bottom.
Right.
But I mean, it's not my game of the year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a difference here.
Yeah. Well, my number 8 is not Dead Island 2.
Is it on your list?
No, actually not.
You better put it in there.
I liked it, but like I said, there were so many games this year, man. There's so many games this year. It's hard. My number 8 is the finals. Finals is number 8.
Oh.
So
I already forgot
Shit,
about
I
that.
need- Yeah.
you already forgot about that?
It's nowhere on my list.
No, it's not mine either.
Wow.
It's no Battlefield, I'll tell you that.
Damn, son. Okay, so you're right. It's no Battlefield. Battlefield's the best fucking game ever made. But no, that's not true. But it's really, really good. I love Battlefield. One of my top series of all time,
Season
right?
7 better be game of the year for you.
Yeah. I wish I could. Yes, I would love to put it on there. So the finals I put on my list because I love this game. I really, really, really love this game a lot. I was like, Embark Studios. I remember when we made a video about Patrick Sutherland leaving EA DICE to go start a new company, Embark Studios. Somehow that video blew up before they even announced anything that was going to be happening. But I was like, I didn't know what to expect. And then they announced Arc Raiders that they're working on as a free-to-play like extraction shooter. So we saw that, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, we're also in between making this game called The Finals. And then people started covering it in like closed alpha. I got into like, I think the second closed alpha test or whatever. And I was like, this game is amazing. It's so different and new, and it gives me the vibes of like a Counter-Strike, but it's different and it's unique. And then they shadow dropped it, not shadow drop. I mean, I kind of expected it, but they did release the full version at the Game Awards, which is
Awesome.
very exciting.
You called it.
Called it, and
Brett got so excited.
so excited, and free to play, and the seasonal content, like the battle pass progression, I wish was a little bit faster, but like there's some neat skins and unlocks and stuff there. There's some really cool ideas with like you can even customize your weapon animation when you reload through battle pass unlocks and stuff. But the just core gameplay of this idea of going to find these vaults, collecting a cash box, bringing it to an ATM machine basically, and defending that, and the amount of zaniness that can come with the fact that the entire world is destructible is really, really interesting. And every character having a different set of loadouts you can unlock and upgrade over time with like the RPGs from the heavy or like the grappling hook that the light person has. And even the light people, like they freaking use the freaking invisibility cloak like so much now. And that adds a whole new layer into the game, or like being able to heal as a medium character. There's so many different ways you can come and approach, and you have different experiences where it's like, it's very rare. Actually, the only time I've ever had this sensation is in Rocket League. But the sensation of like going up, you get your team of 3 to go up to that cash box and grab and steal that cash box with like 2 seconds left before it turns over, and then bam, you get it. And you get your $10,000, and you're like, yeah,
I think we did that like 2 times, Brett and I, and Brett was fucking raging.
losing my mind, man.
I want to like it like you like it.
Yeah.
I just feel like the classes are so restrictive,
Really?
in my opinion. Like the fast guy is like real fast, and he has a cool like Uzi that has a lot of bullets, so it does a decent amount of damage. It's not like you can take out a brute. You can take out a brute, but it just takes it takes a full clip to take one of the heavy guys out, and then the heavy guys are just so slow. And there's like no. I guess you can you can't put a scope on any of these guns, right?
Yeah, you can. There's attachments and stuff later on, but like I said, that's one of the things that takes a while. The progression to like upgrade a weapon is so long. I have all my guns. I've been playing this game for like 10 hours, and I haven't gone past level 1 with any of my guns.
Yeah.
But once you go past level 1 with the guns and stuff like that, you unlock new skins, you unlock new attachments and things like that. You can add to it.
Yeah. And then the all around guy, like he's not as fast as the light guy, but he's fast enough, and he has a cool AK. But like I just every time I play any of these characters, like I want a little more. And it just I feel like I'm hindered, I'm slowed down, and then once you die, like some of the mechanics of the game is like, oh well, when everyone dies, like you could be almost spawned back, but now your whole respawn counters.
If your whole team dies and it
reset.
restarts,
I'm like, I have to wait another 15 seconds. Like I just get pulled out of the game, and I feel like that whole waiting part just sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they count on you to your partners to come and help and revive you, and it's just like most of the time you're in a battle, so the chances are, your whole team's gonna die, or the guy who's with you is gonna die, and then you're just like, well, I guess I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, there's just some issues with the game that just haven't pulled it out of the park for me. I was like, I'd rather just play Battlefield.
Yeah.
Where you can spawn in, there's that wave of battle, you can get straight into everything, the action, and
Well, the thing with Battlefield is like you can solo play that game, and you don't really have to play in a squad to be successful and do well, even if you're in a squad.
Yeah, that's true.
But the finals is like so reliant on like tight communication with your team. Like you can't if one person runs in there and to like capture the thing,
helping.
Yeah, if you're not following through and helping, you're dead. You're guaranteed dead. It's got to be tight. And like they actually just with the latest update, I think they force voice chat on. So like you have to like disable it, which I think is important because it's like if you're playing, like there's gotta be some kind of communication going on with that, because 2 seconds of not communication, like these other teams are gonna have the 3 of them there, and with the 3 of them attacking one person, like you're just gonna be trash,
Yeah, no, you're right.
But I like the fact that they're adding. So I'm curious to see how they do with the consistent content over time, because I know they just added the solo banquet mode where you can just like play solo and run around, which I think will probably change the dynamic a little bit and make it interesting, because that is one where you just play by yourself,
Right.
and you can kind of get a new feel for just like kind of how the guns work and not be destroyed by like 3 people against one kind of thing. It's like everybody against each other. So I think that'll be interesting, but I'm also curious to see like how they progress with new maps, and because I do think they need some more maps and things of that nature. But they said that they're not going to give out a roadmap because they don't want to tie themselves to something and under deliver. They want to just bring out surprises and updates as they go. But I think they have a great concept here, and I think the game is really well polished. I mean, it's just amazing the technology that they were able to put in this game, and the fact that it just works so well in a multiplayer experience is like unreal.
That's true.
It's
very playable.
so impressive. So
I do like Destructive World, like that one match we were playing where you can't stand still, or a big old freaking laser beam comes down and starts destroying.
Right, the orbital lasers.
Yeah, it starts destroying the building above you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Where are these lasers coming from? And then I was like, oh, it was like the match element thing, and I was like, oh. So before you know it, like all the buildings are getting destroyed. And so
Jesus.
there's like rubble everywhere, which creates barriers for you and the team. So it kind of helps you. And people are trying to jump into this one area with the cash box. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But then you die and you have to wait like 15, potentially 30 seconds just to get back into the game. And then I have to run all the way over to where the action is. And I'm like, it just slowed it down so much. There's good stuff and bad stuff.
I am curious with the timer thing, because the latest update, they actually, rather than reducing the timer, they increased the timer. like by a second or two, which I thought was really interesting. So like there must be some testing they're doing that shows that like it somehow it helps. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it helps
but,
the
like,
team winning.
I guess. Yeah, it's weird. It was a surprise thing, but I don't know. I'm still definitely following this game a lot. I had so much fun. I still like adore this game as hard as it is. I absolutely adore a new take on a multiplayer arena shooter. So number 7. Wait, no.
Jesus.
Sorry.
That's fine.
No, I'm
Fuck me.
losing track of where we are. Number 8,
that's fine.
Jason.
That's
Sorry.
fine. No, that's
Sorry.
cool.
Number 8, Jason.
Party animals.
Nice.
Yeah. Everything you said. I kind of wish they had a battle pass to that one. They don't really have a battle pass.
Yeah, I know it would be kind of, well, so they have like, you can like pay for the
things and
upgrades,
you can
but
earn cookies and stuff to like unlock some costumes. But yeah. But no, party animals, I have a great time. I can sit there and play it by myself and still have a good time. Just jump into random matches and go to town. So it's fun.
all right, number
Now
7,
7.
Austin.
My number 7 is Liza P.
Oh, good.
Just because the way that game came together is very surprising. How good it was, and the story, and how dark it was. I like dark stories, and
Yeah.
I've already said enough about it before for my biggest surprise. So
Cool.
definitely worth picking up. It was a great game for last year. Didn't finish it, but I would like to, and I know people who did finish it, and basically it's gotten really good reviews across the board from a lot of people that I follow or find on Instagram or YouTube. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason, number 7.
Why?
Because I want to make sure you get the time to read off your game, man.
Number 7 is Atomic Heart. Nice.
Okay.
Yep, highly enjoyed that game. It was my most underrated game. I already said what I had to say about it, but I really think I'm going to go back and actually finish it this time because it was good. It was good combat. It was good, funny bits. Storyline was great. It just dove deeper and deeper. It got that BioShock feel.
My number 7 game of the year is Starfield.
You fucker, dude.
what's happening?
Is that on your list at all?
No.
All right. What's your number 6?
Hang on a minute. I got to talk about Starfield for a second, okay? Starfield got a lot of shit this year, all right? But I still feel confident that this game is going to continue to get better, and I've enjoyed what I played of it so far. I put like 20-ish hours into it, so I haven't like blown a gasket or beat the game or anything like that.
You need about 80 more hours.
I know. I was spoiled on what the ending was, and it sounds pretty freaking badass. So I'm like excited to like kind of go to that point and start over again. But all that to be said, like
I got some things to say about
I enjoyed I hate the cutscenes, but it's Bethesda cutscenes, and they've been doing this for years, forever, since the beginning of time. And I wish they would break away from it and actually like show some cuts and not just like a talking head in front of your face. But there are some really interesting characters that I've discovered in the game. There's very interesting environments. I think they made some really good, diverse environments. And a lot of people complain about the fast travel thing of happening all the time. I disagree. I think it's perfect for this game because I got really bored of No Man's Sky, having to fly up in the air and then fly back down and fly up in the air. The fact that I can, even in Baldur's Gate, it's like,
You got tired of playing the
I
game?
waypoint through. Well, yeah. I got tired of freaking traveling up and down, up and down, up and
So
down. You know what I
up
mean?
for that. I had you.
I know.
Let's have a loading screen
Fair
for
enough.
every single
Fair
thing.
enough,
You
fair
open up a
enough.
door, loading screen. You go up and a loading screen.
There's not that many. It's just when you go up and down. Now, it
Fucking
is annoying,
cutscene,
though.
loading
there are
screen.
times, though, there was missions where it was like, hey, Brett, go to this planet, grab this thing, and then come back. So you go down there, you land, you go pick up one item,
Loading
and you
screen.
get back, and you have to fly off
Loading
again.
screen.
So that was
Yeah.
annoying.
Loading screen.
But overall, I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. I think it got overshadowed by the loading screen. I think literally people like targeted like a couple of things in the game.
That was great.
And it also,
things.
a couple of things
How long have they been working on this game?
for a long time.
For a fucking long
20
time.
years.
But here's the problem,
how
too.
bad was that game right when it launched?
Not bad at all.
Fucking terrible.
No, it wasn't.
Dude, the sound went out on me.
Well, yeah, for you, because you
For
I don't.
multiple
You did
people.
something wrong.
I
so-
didn't do anything wrong.
I never had that issue, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
so,
my fuck off.
but I mean, like, I know you had a sound problem. I don't know what happened there, but like, my game ran pretty well. Like, it ran really, really well considering the how much graphical stuff was in there. You know, I think it looked good. There's a lot to do in that game. There's a lot to explore. I mean, there's the encumbrance issue that always drives me nuts in games of Elder Scrolls, but there will be, updates for that. But I genuinely think there's an interesting story here. There's interesting characters. I think there's a lot of. It's not the best RPG, but I think they did some interesting stuff here, and I'm excited to see how they develop and grow it over time. And I think it has potential. I would bet you in a couple of years we're gonna look back on this game and be like, no, that's a badass game. Like they've done what they need to do. I think it's gonna happen.
You've been listening to Lana Pierce too much.
Oh, I actually don't watch her at all. I just watch her Instagram, like
She's
TikToks.
very. We have to support these games, even if they're. Well, she doesn't say even if they're bad. She really likes. She likes this game. She likes Starfield.
So
she's like, if we criticize these games too much, like they have been, which I feel like is justified, then they'll stop making these games and they'll stop putting money into this stuff.
yeah,
So
No,
I see her point.
No,
but
if we criticize it, they will fix the problems.
Hopefully
they will
they fix the
problems and
yes.
make sure they don't do it again next time they release it.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. That's how they
I
need
totally
to take
agree
it.
with that. I
Not
totally
the
agree
other
with
way
that.
around. Oh, they're not going to make the games. No, fuck off with that. Fix the motherfucker before you release it, because I'm dropping $60 for this game, $70 for this game,
Yeah.
and it's a pile of hot garbage that you're giving. Oh, we'll
Yeah.
fix it later.
We'll fix
but
it later,
you
yeah.
gave us money to
1
help
year
fix it.
later.
actually, I got on Game Pass, so you know.
Well, he's talking about other games.
I'm talking
I know,
about
I know,
like
I
in
know.
general. That's a stupid way to look
yeah,
at things.
yeah.
no,
Fuck you.
I agree that there's no excuse for a game to come out. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy is a good example. That game wasn't really. I mean, it was pretty damn polished when it launched, you know,
Right.
and that was a very big, expansive open world. The fact that Starfield's having weird issues is a problem. Like it shouldn't be doing that. But
Yeah.
all that to be said, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I am going to go back and revisit it after I beat Baldur's Gate because I do want to progress through that story and finish it and see kind of where they land with it. Because I think it's what I wanted from Bethesda, which is a sci-fi RPG, and it's not exactly all the things that I wanted, but it's hitting those right buttons and stuff like that. So
My biggest issue was they kept saying, "Oh, the game really gets started once you finish it," and I was
Right.
like, "What does that mean?"
What does that mean?
And then I spoiled it for myself, which I guess I won't spoil it here. But when you start the new game plus, it gets a lot better, and that's what everyone keeps saying. I'm like, why do I have to play the whole game through to start it over
'Cause
in
by the-
order to actually enjoy the game? Like that does not make any sense.
for people like this guy who like play the game over and over 5 times,
But it has to be good in the beginning.
I know,
Play
you're
it
right.
over and over
Yeah.
again.
You're right. It does.
Yeah,
It does
yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, they came out perfectly fucking fine and dropped free DLC.
And they didn't really have a new game plus option, really,
Fuck them
right? You know,
motherfuckers,
like
dude.
so it's
They should have had 5 planets that were fully fleshed out, and that's like in one solar system, and called it a day.
yeah,
And I think they would have been stayed true to Bethesda's actual like Skyrim, Fallout, these big worlds with a bunch of nooks and crannies with interesting people to talk to, and it would have worked out.
yeah.
But I think I don't know what happened, but I feel like that they shifted from like, oh, let's do. I'm sure originally it was going to be something like that. I don't know, maybe not. And then now they're like, oh, let's do this really cool.
Well, they may have had like
Let's
more
blow it
planets,
out.
and they like let's tone down the amount of planets we have.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of depth to some of those, especially like the Nova planet, like the cyberpunky looking one.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that map. Like I've explored a shit ton of that map.
You know that's
Right.
going to be on his list next. It's fucking Cyberpunk.
To be determined.
It is. We know it is.
No, we don't.
You already told us it was.
Did he?
No, I don't know.
You talked to me about it.
All right, number 6, everybody. Number 6, Austin. What is your number 6 game of the year?
My number 6 is Atomic Heart because you reminded me about that game. I totally forgot it came out this year. I had a lot of fun with it because it
Yeah.
reminded me of Wolfenstein meets Bioshock
Yep.
with a little bit of Far Cry in it with the open world. And apparently the game doesn't end that well, but I felt like the world that they set up, the world you get into, you get to see the world from what it used to be to what it became. And you have some cool powers and interesting stuff. And although it's mostly linear, like there's a lot of cool areas to explore and
Yeah.
dive into. Like there's one underground area, I forget, it has like 4 floors, and I guess you do have to go through all of them. But there are some
Yeah.
like nooks and crannies that you want to explore to help you get upgrades and a lot of interesting characters, and the gunplay was pretty fun. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of good time with it. So it is on my.
Do you think
game
I
of the
like this game?
year. Yes.
Do you think I like this game?
Do you like Bioshock?
I do like Bioshock.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
You're
Do you
like-
like?
I want to play it, but I'm just like I
It's just
don't. I can't. I don't
Wolfenstein.
have time.
Wolfenstein meets Bioshock.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds amazing.
I
It
know.
sounds amazing.
It's
yeah.
good. It's good. You'll like it.
Shit.
I don't know how the story ends, but it's like
Yeah.
what I played. I've enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
Number 6, Okay, Jason, number 6.
Oh, it's Hogwarts Legacy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I put a lot of time in that game. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the gameplay mechanics. It was fun. It was fun. My only biggest complaint is trying to find every single little thing because I took it to do that, and it is a friggin' nightmare. Saying Revelio so many times, I had to mute it. And then their secret PlayStation exclusive mission that they had on there, phenomenal. Fucking blew me away. I loved it.
The only part that was different for everybody,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
It was so fun. So, but yeah, I that's a game I could possibly replay again whenever I'm in the mood.
My number 6 is also Hogwarts Legacy.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Remember that game came out? We are like, game of the year right
Game of
here.
the year.
And then things have like progressively put it back. But no, honestly, that I have so many fond memories of that game.
Yeah, same.
It was literally the first game I played, probably other than Ratchet and Clank, Ripped Apart, and then Spider-Man. That was like, damn, this is next gen design, right? Like graphics right here. Like Hogwarts, the castle was so incredibly detailed and beautiful, and there was so many layers to find and discover in there. Like I don't explore in games, but I explored all over the fucking place in this game.
And it was nice. It was very beautiful.
Yeah. And like you guys said, like I was very, very impressed by the wands, the magic. Like I thought that was going to be a shitty mechanic, and it turns out it was really good and fun and easy to like grasp and master, but like very diverse with like boom, boom, block, parry, shield, throw, this, that. All these things, running around, and like the cutscenes were great. Like there was definitely like Austin said, and I don't know if you felt the same way about the ending, just not kind of falling flat.
I enjoyed the ending.
Yeah. I thought it was a fine ending, but I felt like it wasn't as umphy as I wanted it to be. Like
I felt like the writing was on the wall. Like we knew where it was going.
Yeah.
Basically knew how it was going to end, and I think the choice at the end was kind of like,
Yeah.
This was more one that was like the journey was better than the destination kind of thing, but the journey itself and the mystery around it was all like really cool leading up to that. And I thought, it's definitely a easy 9 out of 10 for me, if not 9.5 almost. So it's like, it was great. Yeah, loved it. Totally worth it. So fucking gorgeous.
Can't wait for number 2.
Yeah, same.
for
Or
real.
DLC. I thought they were going to drop DLC after they dropped it on the Switch.
No, they announced that they weren't going to do any DLC for this, unfortunately.
Everyone was playing this at the time. Like even
Oh, yeah.
Lizette, who doesn't play video games,
Yeah.
my fiance wanted to play this game.
Dude, I'm
like
still...
she created her own character and she's so excited. She was like, "This is so cool." She didn't get far in it, but just like the whole concept of like, wow, I want to actually jump into this, experience it.
I am so glad that they literally were the best selling game of the year because of just how, like, I listened to so many podcasts with their game of the year discussion. Nobody mentioned this game at all. Like,
I don't understand.
Media completely canceled this game.
We're
Game
not
Awards
canceling.
did, Kind of Funny, Min Max, Game Informer. None of them made a word about this game. And I'm like, this game is fucking good.
I know.
Why not get, like, they didn't say things about it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I think those
me
people
off.
are just
even
out of
had-
touch. I mean, look, if it's one of the highest selling games of the year, how are you not going to talk about that?
And what's so bad, they even had a transvestite person in the game.
Yeah. It was a
Like-
great character.
Yeah, it was a
like
phenomenal character,
fantastic
too.
character in the game. So it's like, I don't know. It's silly, but
It is.
number 5, Austin. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Alan Wake 2.
Oh,
So I've been trying to blow through this game to get it to have an opinion about it for this. It is a good game. The graphics are phenomenal. I've always liked the storytelling, especially Remedy, and it's cool to see play this game and see like all of their games from the past, like pulled into this in one way or another, and I've enjoyed my time. I don't know how I feel about the story. I think it's good enough. It's very esoteric, so it's not higher on my list. I know it got best story for the Game Awards. I don't know yet. I just don't know. Like maybe it ends really well, but I just feel like everything is a little convoluted and, like I said, esoteric. So it's just kind of like, okay.
And how far are you into it now?
Cool.
Do you think? Do you remember?
I think I've gotten through like 5 or 6 chapters.
Okay.
So I'm at the place
How
where
many chapters are there?
I was in the coffee world.
Coffee World. Oh, you're not You're nowhere close.
But isn't that like 6 chapters in?
No.
I've gotten through a lot of chapters.
Yeah, you got through a lot of chapters, but that's the second time you play a saga, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're nowhere close.
Okay. Well, I know there's 18 chapters.
Yeah.
So,
You're nowhere close.
yeah, I guess I'm not even halfway.
Once you get to the coffee world, it really dives into like what the fuck's happening.
It's a great horror game.
Oh yeah.
It's a great horror game. Like the suspense and walking through and having to utilize your tools and stuff. Like
Yeah.
the gameplay is fun.
Yeah.
So, and the whole dance number was very interesting. Like it is something that people should just play because it's just so unique.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying. Dude, I kept dying. I was like, you gotta be
I
kidding
dropped it easy, man.
me. That thing was so hard. Like
is.
harder than I expected.
Yeah, it is hard.
And I hate that when you have the flare, like you hold it up and like everyone gets damaged or like stunned. It takes away their like darkness shield. But like when you drop the flare, like it goes out. I'm like,
It doesn't go out. It still goes.
I dropped it. I pulled it out and then I threw it down and it went out.
Yeah.
Did you drop it in water?
No,
Sure.
I
It
mean,
should still go in water.
this was in the dance number. Yeah, mine went
weird.
out and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, mine will stay because I'll accidentally do it. And then if you have flares and you get attacked by someone, you can stab the flare like right into them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, I
I'll
love
try
that.
it again, but that's what happened. I don't think I held it
Interesting.
that long.
Huh.
So it freaked me out and then I died.
That's funny.
But yes, that is my number 5.
I love it. Jason,
You guys are probably gonna hate me for this. I already know.
I already hate
I
you.
can't wait.
right.
My number 5 is Baldur's Gate 3.
That's fine.
Okay.
I already knew what your number 1
Yeah.
would be, so I'm just glad it's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. I highly enjoyed the game. I thought it was extremely unique. Everything about it, but that game, there's just too much for it. Like for a casual gamer, that should be your only game to play this whole year because it will take a lot of time
Yes.
out
Yeah.
of your schedule. And then I don't like the fact that you kind of, if you want to jump in with someone, you got to like basically play one of their characters and you have to like restart. Kind of wish I can create my character and just jump in wherever I want.
So you can't do that now.
Oh, you can't do that.
They patched that.
Okay.
Yeah, they fixed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
good. That's
awesome.
good.
So,
That's
so
good.
you can jump in a player's thing. You can create a character, and then whenever you create that character, they just have to go back to camp, and they leave your character at camp, and they can swap their character back in and go
okay.
back in their world. Yeah,
But
they
that's
fixed that
nice.
after like the 3rd patch. I think.
There's
That's nice.
There's a lot of things that like turn me off about this game. Like whenever you're in a cutscene and you have other people playing with you, they can interrupt the cutscene and fuck everything up, and you not realize it, and all of a sudden you're fighting. That happened to me once or twice
Yeah.
already, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, this is kind of a lot.
That does suck. But also, when you're playing single player, you can also do that.
Yeah, you can also do that.
You can have characters wait on the side and then
and do like other things for
Yeah.
you.
I have friends that have like gone in dialogue conversations, and they'll like go and like pickpocket people around while there's
Yeah.
one person having a conversation.
So, but the game is like open to your own imagination. Is like a D&D. It's like actual D&D, and I'm ready to see where they move forward. But this game is just too much for me, and that's why it's not like in my top 3, but it is in my top 5.
Yeah, I'm not
Someone's gonna hate
surprised by
Yeah,
that.
someone's gonna hate me.
No, I'm honestly not, because I thought I was worried when we got you into the game that it was because there is a lot to this.
There is
game.
a
It's
lot.
Yeah, there's a
systems heavy game, and it's like it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone, but it's fun. I would love to like play through it. I'm thinking about just restarting and just
Yeah.
playing through.
you should.
But it's a very fun game, and there's a lot of crazy shit you can do in it.
And my number 5 is Remnant 2.
Nice.
What?
Nice. Oh, you upset?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
At least it's on there.
My number 5 is Remnant 2. I loved playing this game with Jason and Austin and everybody. We had a blast. It was fun. For me, this is kind of, I didn't love this. The reason why this isn't higher on my list is I didn't love the story. I thought there were some interesting bits here. I love the world building. I think it's really cool and innovative and creative. And I love just the moment to moment gameplay. They made everything about this game better than the first one, which I love about that. But this is kind of like junk food for me in that, it's like I'm not getting a freaking, 5-star delicatessen, beautiful white tablecloth steak or anything like that. But I'm getting a lot of really good junk food that I love. And for that, I really enjoy it. But it's not higher up my list for that reason.
Yeah.
But I had a blast playing this game. We beat it with the exception of the last boss because we were like, yeah, it's too fucking hard. But play the DLC, beat that. That was a lot of fun. Excited for more DLC. So I'm going to keep playing this game. I love it and want to like power through it. And I think it's great. And I'm so glad it exists. And it's like the closest I'll get to playing a Dark Souls game. Because
It's more like
I
Dark
like that I
Souls
can.
now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I like that I can play with a friend to do it. Whereas like, Elden Ring and stuff, it's hard to do that. But like just being like, hey, Jason, take aggro for a second while I heal. Please, I'm about to die.
Oh, my God.
But there was some freaking crazy boss battles in that they just like kept adding new boss battles that just like. But I know it's on your list. We'll talk about more probably later on. So that's my number 5. Number 4. Take it back to the top with Austin. What do you got?
I got Remnant.
Hey.
Like you said, it's really fun. We all enjoyed the first one. We really enjoyed this one. They really improved on everything, which is great. So playing those levels and seeing all the new enemies and traversing has been phenomenal, and upgrading and all that, and find those really awesome weapons that you feel like work for you. It's a lot of fun upgrading those.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing I don't like was that I feel like the game, as we found out, the game does require you to like play with other people in order to get more upgrade items, so you can get more dragon hearts and get all these different things that
More of that damn hardened iron.
like you guys had like 10 dragon hearts, and I was like, I still have 3. And they're like, well, you got to upgrade. And I was like, well, what do I need? And it turns out that like all the stuff I do need, I've already spent it on other upgrades.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you guys have been playing, like we've all been going to each other's worlds and progressing through the story, that has helped y'all tremendously to get other things that I just wasn't paying attention to.
We also like explored the shit out of every map.
we
like,
exactly.
we did not leave any stone unturned. And that helped to like uncover some of the secret pathways that got you some good goodies and stuff like that too.
So I wasn't able to kill all the little mini bosses enough to get things that I need. I think I only have like 4 or 5 hearts, which isn't enough, especially for that last boss battle that we're fighting. So I did have fun. I wouldn't mind jumping back into it, but yeah, it does feel kind of daunting for me at this point.
Yeah.
Because y'all are so much farther along, and I don't want to play it by myself. And
Oh,
I've tried
you can
to
always
play
do
it.
a new character. And
I've
just jump
tried to
in
play
with
it by
you.
myself and go back and
It's
try
hard.
to. Oh, dude, it's so tough.
hard.
I'm like, you know what? I've pretty much seen most of the game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at like 90% of the game. I feel like. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not going to play it right now.
Right.
But the time we did have play, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the new DLC out. I am excited about that.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. It's in the same area as one of the other like worlds and stuff. It's just in different parts of it, but they did add some really cool moments, and the bosses were fucking cool. There was some really cool bosses in that world too. So
Nice.
that was fun. Jason, number 4.
My number 4, I'm pretty sure I know, is Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I played the shit out of this game. I enjoyed the story. It wasn't as impactful as Spider-Man 1. It's kind of hard to see where they're going to continue it a little bit, but I am excited for it, especially with them coming out with the Venom DLC. I want to see how that progresses, how that story goes forward.
The leak.
Yeah, the leak. And I remember getting this game, and I played it for like a straight 6 hours just one night.
You
And I
beat in
just-
like 4 days.
yeah,
son
I
of a
beat it in
bitch.
4 days. I really enjoyed that they introduced the new different mechanics with the web zip line thing, the wingsuit, and playing between like Miles and Spider-Man at the same time whenever they're fighting together. I thought the combos were unique. It was interesting. It felt more fluid. And then the fast travel alone was, even though I didn't use it all until the end of the game, the fast travel was fucking just amazing.
Technically impressive.
Yes.
Talk about
Highly
flying through the city and stuff.
No,
It was like
you-
how fast you just drop in.
yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
and you drop in right on the spot that you click on. Once you I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Yeah.
So
That
it
was
helped
awesome.
me like get a lot of collectibles and stuff like that. Doing that, I enjoyed seeing Craven. Craven, I thought was a very unique person to bring into the game, and it was just he felt powerful to me, and it felt like Spider-Man was going to have a hard time, which he did. And everything else with the game is just, even the Mary Jane missions, I thought I was going to get annoyed with, but even playing those, I think they improved on those as well. Instead of her sneaking around, she actually has like
She can actually
a
taste
weapon.
people.
She tastes people. Yeah, and then later on, you can shoot people with it, and you're like, okay, this is getting better.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big annoyance at all. So yeah.
They definitely took player feedback for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to hate her missions.
Oh, same, dude.
My number 4 is Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, boy.
At least it's not top 3.
Nope, not top 3. So here's the deal, y'all.
Okay.
Cyberpunk releases a pile of garbage. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe in second chances. Okay?
Oh, you do.
I believe in second chances. I wanted this game so bad. When it came out, I was so sorely disappointed. But let me tell you, this is now the game that I wanted. And I freaking love it. It is the deals. So the reason why it's here, I know it's an expansion, but the expansion is basically the same length and depth as the original game is. Because it's as long, as high polish, as high production, maybe even more high production in some ways than the original story was.
Yeah.
And I'm still able to now go back and play some of the side quests of the original game that I like never got to or just didn't quite discover. And I think I'm at 45 or 50 hours in Cyberpunk now. And I'm still like loving every moment of it. Like this new story. I've gone deep into the espionage. I haven't beat it yet, but I've gone deep into the espionage. New story here. I think Idris Elba is a great addition to the story. I think the new character Songbird is really, really powerful and really interesting and really deep. I think her character is not always present there, but like whoever they casted for her as like a voice actress, like did a really, really good job. And she has such an interesting persona to her. And like, I still have this relationship with, Keanu Reeves is still present throughout this story as well. And I think that's really good. But what I love about it's like, I mean, this is now a full on RPG, 100%. The mechanics are so incredibly deep now, more than they've ever been before. But like the cutscenes are so rich and involved, and like there's characters talking around me and moving around and like walking around. And it's like, here I am playing games like freaking Starfield and even Baldur's Gate, which Baldur's Gate has fantastic cutscenes, which we'll talk about later. But like there are moments in this that I'm just like so atmospheric and detailed, and just like there was a level that I did that I had to go underwater and like swim underwater, like sneak into this base, basically like kind of Mission Impossible style. And just like the atmosphere of that, the colors and the design of that whole space like look so good. It was like that body cam footage that we were watching, but like this is on Unreal Engine. This isn't even on Unreal Engine 5. It's like CD Projekt Red's thing. I think it's great. I think everybody should give it a chance because like it's really, really good now. It still has a few bugs here and there, but every game these days, unfortunately, does still have bugs, especially this in depth. But I mean, like, it's one of the best stories I've played in a long time. It's really, really good, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And I love all the movement and mechanics and everything in this game. It's freaking awesome. So it deserves a spot on my list, and y'all should play it.
All right, dude. I didn't like it.
Same.
Listen to my review.
Yep.
Well, it's very
Sorry.
sad. Y'all should give another chance.
Sorry, not sorry. Well, what killed me was when you go to the slum place with Idris Elba and have to talk to that person who's in disguise at the coffee bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the dialogue. I was trying to give it a chance. And that dialogue, that whole scene there was just not done right. The way that the people talk and react is just so like robotic in a way. Like the way they deliver the lines was fine. It's just like, this happens. Then I turn and then I say something and then I go back and I look at you and I'm like, oh my God. And like that just, I had it. Like I couldn't take it anymore. Like, I'm like, this is just not well designed still, in my opinion. And then one of the issues, which is kind of like not really a big thing, but I listened to, I was like, people were like, oh, look how the people react in the city. And you can see a lot of like just linear pathways.
That's still not as good as it.
No,
as
I
other
watched.
games,
I watched in this very small area, probably the size of this room. Nah, it's about 2 or 3 sizes of this room, lengthwise. And the people were just going in a circle the whole time. I was like, "Are you serious? Like, at least have people walk in from here and here and here, and leave out this way, and just make it seem like they're doing something. Have a bigger circle that they go off. Like, if you're going to stand here, like they're going to go down this alleyway around the corner and then come all the way back around the long way and make it like a really big circle." But no, I was just like,
yeah.
for me, it's just like, I know this stuff exists and it kind of just breaks it for me. Now, I would have known to actually look at that if someone had pointed out from, the initial release and how people react. So I was just like, let's just see what they've, fixed, because they fixed a lot. They have fixed a lot.
Yeah.
So it was just those things that just kind of broke it for me. And I just felt like the gameplay and stuff, like the way that the upgrade tree has been updated was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I just still felt like the gameplay and stuff was just like, didn't do it for me, sadly. And I really wanted to, because I love Idris Elba.
Yeah.
And the story trailer looks amazing. Like, I feel like there's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole mystery and espionage piece. So there was a moment where you're going this like this rooftop party that's like private, the one where I had to do the swim under the water to kind of get up in there. There was a moment where there was like a performer that was on stage that came out on stage, and there was like this like AR like wings that came out and were like flying as this like person was performing and singing, and like that was just like visually like wow, like that looks so good. So there was definitely a lot of moments in that, and like the slums are very slummy, but they did a good job making it feel like a shitty, worn down Las Vegas. I feel like, but
no, they did good. They did good.
But I agree. I mean, they still have some issues with like the NPCs and stuff like that, but it's much better than it was. But it's still like I think there was just a problem with like the design. They tried to make it so dense at the beginning, and I think it just was hard for them to get there. And I think they've got it in a really good place now, but it's it was still there's a lot of other stuff that's like done a better job with like certain pieces of this. But I think from what they're trying to do, which is like story and RPG mechanics, like they did fantastic at it now. But yeah, no, I agree with some of the concerns. It's definitely present for sure in places. So
I mean, I've seen people, like a lot of people have changed their mind on Cyberpunk at this point.
Yeah,
so
myself included.
I know.
Look at that. It's crazy. All right, number three. Bring it back to Austin.
Top three.
Top
number three. It's Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
I've said enough about it. It's a really good game. I enjoyed it. Obviously, there's issues still, but I think for what has come out and what we've seen and played, deserves to be in top three. And like from the beginning, like when it first came out, I was like, this is going to get Game of the Year.
Right.
Just because of all the hype. Everyone was talking about it. There wasn't, a mainstream reviewer, podcaster person for video games.
Yeah.
Like everyone loved this game. Even people who didn't play games wanted to play this game. So,
Jason, number three.
Jason.
What is your big
My number
three?
three is Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoyed that they went like really back to the basics of Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
and it really like helped me get back into the franchise a little bit more. Just because French fries, the franchise a little bit more, just because Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There was so much to it, and I put a lot of hours into it. I put 165 hours into it, and this one I didn't have to put that much time into it. I just enjoyed the story. I enjoyed Basim as a character. I enjoyed like actually sneaking around finally instead of like going in there raging, because you're gonna get hit if you do that. I enjoyed the new power up, that the only single power up you got, where you can basically do like an Arkham Knight style takedowns on people unless you build up that meter. And it was super fun. It was just a super nice, simple game, and that's what I wanted.
I actually love that that's on your list, because I failed to mention earlier when I was like, Ubisoft didn't get enough credit this year for Avatar, The Crew, and I forgot Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yep.
Also, it was like, I mean, it wasn't everybody's favorite game necessarily, but it's like, I like that they actually listened to people and were like, let's not do a freaking big, massive, epic Ghost Recon Breakpoint with all kinds of shit everywhere. Let's just like double down and simplify and focus in on some stuff. Which
And
I
like
think
the
is cool.
game, like itself, made you like make sure you had enough resources to go into a mission and make sure you were able to get out there alive, because you don't want to just stay behind and like you wanted to be an assassin, and that's what you were.
Yeah.
So I highly enjoyed the game.
I like how different our lists are. This is also kind of cool, right? My number three is Alan Wake 2.
all right.
Yes. Now, I will say this is a tough one to place, because I haven't played as much as I wanted to play of it, because it scares me and I don't like being scared. But this game is an achievement in storytelling, in visual art direction, in I think even gameplay, in so many ways that They deserve to be celebrated, and they deserve the credit, and they deserve to have the game of the year like they got, or not the game of the, or not they
Best
didn't get game
story.
of the year, best story. Thank you. Yeah. They deserve the recognition that they received, because I think Remedy has been putting out bangers for years, and they just have always been underappreciated. And I love that there's starting to get some of that. And like what I've played, which is like I guess 6 or 7, maybe 8 hours now or whatever. It's really, really visually stunning and like one of the best looking games I've ever played. And it plays pretty well. I don't like Alan Wake's gameplay as much, I will say. I feel like it's a little jank sometimes, because there was moments where I struggle with the mechanic of I love the mechanic in the original game, but this one I felt like there was some times where like the controls, like I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do entirely the way I expected them to happen. But beyond that, I think like playing Saga's story is like so True Detective for me. Like it feels like I'm playing the first season of True Detective.
Definitely.
And it's so dark and fucked up, and like the character dynamics and the realism of just like jumping into real life versus coming out, all that stuff was just like really, really impressive. And even though some of the gamey stuff with like the words of power or whatever that give you like upgrades and shit, I was like, okay, that's like silly and gamey, but it's also kind of cool. And then just like how, again, like Spider-Man does, like you jump into the mind place or whatever, like the headspace, like so instantly. That's your pause menu. I was like, that's a clever mechanic. There's a lot of really good stuff happening here, and I think they deserve all the all the praise that they can get. So that's my number 3, Alan Wake 2.
Very cool. Very cool.
So now we're entering in the top 2, everybody. Whoop. This is where it gets super exciting.
Whoop.
Will we have consistencies? Will we have surprises? Will we have games we haven't talked about?
Yes.
What's going to happen? Austin, what is your number 2?
Number 2 is Tears of the Kingdom. It had to be up here.
About that one.
Yep. It was going to be in the top 3 for sure. I think I've been saying that all year. I mean, how do you make a good game or a great game better? Nintendo figured it out, in my opinion. I was playing through
Let them build shit.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I was playing through Breath of the Wild right before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and being able to compare the two like back to back, it's like, wow, they actually cleaned up a lot of stuff. There's less jank. Well, there wasn't much jank, but there are like some issues with what just the power that Nintendo has to put out in order to play Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. They seem to have fixed some of that in, I would say, most places. And yeah, the mechanics are just more fluid, and the building, for in my opinion, was just like phenomenal. That you can build all the stuff, and it was more for me. It was more for like solving puzzles.
Yeah,
but you could also use that to create crazy things like mechs and Godzilla and insane rays, or like cages that had traps in them. So you would like trap a bunch of goblins and put them in that thing, and then all the traps would go off and kill them. And there's just like it went from like this crazy open world, you can kind of do what you want and traverse it and solve puzzles as you please, to like it's literally a sandbox. Do whatever you want. Go and find the things and put them all together. And it went from just like story to all these videos and TikToks that just showed you what you could do in the world. And I was like, holy crap. So it got bigger than I could even have ever imagined, even with the good story.
See, what I've learned is that's what I don't like, is give me too much freedom.
Too much power.
Because then I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And
that's why I don't
fell
like
off
Skyrim.
first one. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same way.
But I figured that'd be on your list. I'm glad it's on your list.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's deserving.
The one thing that's even crazier is they built a whole world underground. So not only can you traverse the whole world above, like you can go underground, and it like just changes things up because it's like it's all dark and stuff. And
it's like the same size, right?
Yeah,
as
it's the
above
same
ground?
size. Yes.
That's wild.
It is insane. So
Can you still build stuff underground?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It's amazing what they were able to pack into this game for a freaking Switch game. Because they already have issues like trouble like playing other games, like freaking the Lamb game. What was it?
Cult of Lamb.
Cult of Lamb. Like I had so many problems playing that game with the graphics. Like I kept a lot of stuttering, frame rate dips. I'm just like, this shouldn't be this hard. But But Breath of the Wild like knocked it out of the park with stuff like that.
Yeah.
In most cases, like you can play that game without frame dips. So
Did you ever start Tears of the Kingdom? Did you ever get into it and play
no,
it?
dude, I'm
I didn't
good.
think
Yeah,
so.
I was like,
Too much.
yeah.
Too much.
And there are story beats in this thing that are just like, holy, like brings tears literally to your face because of sacrifices people make and things like that. Like it's worth checking it out just for the story. I mean, if you're a story person, and like for you, like it's just too much. Like it's just better just to mainline the story, just to get the story beats out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Nice.
I know you won't, but
No.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I wanted, there was so many times throughout the year, I was like, I'm going to give this game some time. And I just look back, I'm like, I liked it. And I talked about how I liked it when I first started it, but it's kind of like the same with me and Death Stranding. Like I enjoyed that first time I played it. And then I kind of just fell off because I didn't have a desire to come back to it.
Yeah. It's a massive game
Yeah.
for what it is.
Yeah. Jason.
Yep.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Remnant 2.
Yeah.
Hey.
Really? I thought that was going to be your number 1.
No, it was a great game. I wish I could play it by myself, but I thought it was a very unique game because, like,
You don't like playing with me, man?
no, I do, but like, you're not always available to play, and I really want to play it. I enjoy the combat mechanic. I enjoy like I can jump into my world, go through a mission, but then jump into someone else's, and it's something totally different. But we're in the same world. And I found that very unique, and there's so much replayability there and finding unique weapons and stuff like that. I mean, hell, we even all started on a different planet and didn't even realize it until we started playing together. And I was just like, what the hell? I wasn't on this planet to begin with.
Right.
Everything's just randomly generated, and it's a fun, like it's an extremely fun game. And like, I love the first one, and this one just like the updated graphics alone helped out so much. And I just love this game.
I forgot to mention the random generation. That's a good point.
Yeah,
like
I
that was
forgot
a very
about that.
impressive, like
Super impressive
thing where it's like we're trying to find that
Unexpected.
one part in your game world or whatever. Like, oh, it's not here
It's not
because
here.
it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's
Yeah.
Because
so
the first one
crazy.
was so linear.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're going to play the game, you're going to play it how it's designed.
Yeah.
And this was like, oh, everyone started somewhere different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're like, didn't you come across it? No,
yeah.
not in my world.
It has replayability for sure.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
My number 2 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Oh, top 3.
So I did put
Finally
him in my
talk
top
about
3. Yes. So I agree with some of Austin's points.
Yeah.
That there are some story parts of this game that by the end of the game, I grew to largely dislike Peter Parker, which probably helps the fact that they did come out and say that you will no longer be playing Peter Parker in future games, and it's like Miles Morales is kind of like the hero moving forward kind of thing. Because I did love Miles Morales throughout the whole entire story. I didn't like how they kind of transitioned Peter's character. I kind of basically spent half the game hating him, and I didn't like that I played him and hated him while I was playing him. That was hard for me, but the 100% of this game, and I can't not put it on my list because I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of this game. Even there was parts where I was struggling with it, with just like fighting through it, but I was like, oh, but this gameplay is so fun, and I feel horrible about myself what I'm doing right now, but I love like the gameplay and the experiences, and just like I didn't think they can make like a world like New York any bigger or more immersive than it was, and then they somehow did. And I was like, there's no way they can make it like more technically impressive, because the game was already technically impressive, and they did. And they just did all these things so much better. And I loved all the little nuggets to like they rewarded you so well with doing the side quests and the side missions with like little nuances and details to like the Spider-Verse and into, you know, like all the different like, you know, side characters of like the Spider-Man universe that you didn't really see a lot of, but I love that they had that there with all the different characters and stuff when you got through everything.
Yeah.
Like going through Sandman's whole thing and learning his backstory and everything was really cool. And like you said, Kraven and stuff like that. I do kind of wish Kraven had a bit more. I feel like he kind of got overshadowed by Venom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he spent a lot of time at the beginning, like being the big villain, but I feel like they kind of, once like Venom came in, it's like, I don't give a shit about Kraven anymore. And then literally like, you know, spoiler alert, he dies. And then, you know, you have like a whole half the game as Venom. I feel like that part kind of ramped up way too quickly with the next piece of like Venom like kind of taking over and like controlling everything. But
Yes, that's one of my biggest
yeah,
beefs with it.
but beyond that, I think the game like the intimate storytelling between like Harry and Peter and Miles and I can't remember her name right now with the girl that's deaf.
Death Girl.
Yeah, her that dynamic between those two I think is really good and cool, and his mom or Miles's mom and like her involvement and everything, and just like there's so many like stories that are happening all at the same time, and I love how interesting those can be, and you like know like, oh, this person's going through this problem right now, but then you got this happening over here, but then they're all also like struggling with the fact that like he still just hasn't written his essay yet, but then like you got this all these bigger problems, like he's trying to take out bad guys, and it's just a wild experience. But like gameplay was great, story was great, mechanics were great. Gameplay, I mean, story was like the only thing that I think I would ding it on, but everything else I thought was fantastic and so much fun to play. And I'm glad it wasn't like a 50-hour game. Like I'm glad it was the length it was, but I do think maybe they could have cut out some of the relationship building at the beginning and maybe put a little bit more time on the Venom side, and that might have like maybe helped kind of balance it out a little bit, because there were some parts where I was like, okay, I like walking through the school and reminiscing about our childhood, but at the same time it's like the Venom part was so much shorter, so
Yeah.
but overall love the game.
My biggest issue, I might have looked over some like how Venom takes over the city. I might have looked over that if the game ended. It's always about the journey and then how you leave people. In my opinion, about how you leave the game. Like what do you take away with it? And for me, Peter's always been the sacrificial hero. Like he's always going to sacrifice to do the greater good, which means even himself. Like through a lot of the comics and stories and shows that I've watched, like he's always sacrificing. So for him to just give up, with great power comes great responsibility. Like he has his power. He's not just going to give up Spider-Man. And yeah, there's probably different stories and stuff in the, probably like smaller stories within all the stories of Spider-Man that I don't know about and stuff. And it's like to see him just be like, yeah, I'm going to give it over to Miles. Like, I think Peter would still have a lot to teach Miles. And there's like, wouldn't you be like, hey, how about you take this month of Spider-Man and I'll take this month of Spider-Man? Because Miles still is trying to go to college and do all these things, right? Like he's supposed to have like be moving out of the city. Maybe I forgot something that changed.
But wouldn't you say that his greatest sacrifice is giving up Spider-Man?
No, because he wouldn't do that. That's the thing. Like he wouldn't do that. He's all about the greater good and helping people. And so I've been watching, I haven't. Okay, so I've been reading Superior Spider-Man, and I feel like all of that is in like Peter. So within Superior Spider-Man, you can probably tell it better than I can. Mm-hmm. Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body, and Peter is still in his subconscious as like a spirit almost. And the way Peter reacts to Doc Ock as Spider-Man is like, hey, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, even though you can, and I mean, it's supposed to be a little, I guess, maybe not the right term, morally ambiguous, because Doc Ock is doing things that Peter wish he could do, but as Spider-Man, he's supposed to be sacrificing relationships and certain things in order to be the hero that he thinks he should be.
Well, that's the whole point of Superior Spider-Man. Even Doc Ock told him whenever Peter appeared in his subconscious, and that's the last remnants of Peter. Peter trying to take back control of his body. He even told Peter, is like, I'm going to call myself Superior Spider-Man because I know for a fact I'm smarter than you and I can do this way better.
Right.
Which he did. He did. He throughout the story he did become a better Spider-Man, but to a point, Peter finally got to him and realized that, with great power comes great responsibility. And then Doc Ock realized that towards the end, and I'm not going to spoil anything, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're leading on into for Spider-Man 3 is a Superior Spider-Man arc, because at the end of Spider-Man 2...
That'd be cool to see.
What's that?
That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, at the end of Spider-Man 2, we see that Doc Ock has a final chapter of his story. And we know Doc Ock's spine is slowly giving out and he's slowly dying and losing motor functions and all that stuff. And that's basically correlating to the same of Superior. And as you see at the very end, shadows go across Doc Ock's face, and it's the shape of little Spider-Man eyes. So I have a feeling that it's not going to be the end of Peter Parker's story. I'm curious how it's going to move forward. But I get what you're saying about, Peter just wouldn't give up. And I don't think he is. But he does need to pull back on the reins and let Miles take over so he can start having a life. Because there is different stuff in the comic book where I haven't read where he gives Miles, free reign or anything like that. But I know there's times that Peter fights with himself constantly about giving up being Spider-Man. We all know the greatest comic book image of the Spider-Man suit in the trash can and him walking away. He's given up Spider-Man a couple of times, but he has paid dearly for it.
Right.
And in a lot of different ways. Even in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's, that's how he started losing his powers, is because he had an issue. Everything he did being Spider-Man, everything bad happened to him, And that's in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. And then whenever he stopped being Spider-Man and just gave up, things were going good for Peter Parker. And then he came to a realization that this isn't what Uncle Ben wanted me to do. So he finally took back up the mantle. But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, it might all play out the right way.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to play out the right way. My only issue, and I agree with you on that, and I agree with Brett that it was you start hating Peter. My only issue with Spider-Man 2 is that he has the white symbiote now. It's kind of hard to top that, the anti-venom suit. You know? It's kind of hard to top that, to even have Peter in the next game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like he's pretty much, he has abilities.
He's
just
OP'd now?
He's kind of OP'd. And they tease, Green Goblin's going to come next and all this jazz. And I'm like, they should have left Venom for the third one, in my own opinion. And they should have just did it that way and had Kraven the big bad in this one, or along with Green Goblin or something. But beyond that, I don't know. I entrust Insomniac to do it right, and we will just have to see from there.
Yeah.
But I do want to see a superior Spider-Man.
That would be really awesome.
Either DLC or something.
Yeah. They have a suit for him.
No, they have a suit for him in the whatchamacallit.
The suits you can get.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, though. I think that makes sense. But I could see, like you said, I think it's like going to be something where, he's laying it down because I think he realized like how much he was able to be affected by this job as Spider-Man, by being taken over by the Venom's suit that he got from Harry and this, that, whatever, and like how much it like affected him and how much he hurt the people around him, that he was like, I kind of need to work on myself maybe a little bit and kind of like settle down and just like focus on me and the people that I care so much about, and then let Miles, who's been doing a great job, like, take on this mantle to take a load off of me a little bit so I can like fix me in a way. I wonder if that's kind of like the path that he's taking. Yeah. So,
and also you got to look at it this way: it's a different Spider-Man, it's a different Peter Parker, it's a whole different comic book.
Yeah,
they're just taking inspirations from each one. So
yeah,
this Peter Parker probably feels like he's getting old. It's time to just pass the mantle to someone he can actually trust. Yeah. And at the end of Spider-Man 2, he was actually able to fully trust Miles to go off and do things on his own like he's supposed to.
Yeah,
because he's the one that helped defeat Peter whenever he was in the symbiote suit. So,
great game. Love it. Good stuff.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Still love the first one.
Yeah, I'm excited.
First one's still a favorite.
Yeah. First one's amazing.
I still honestly, I miss the old face too. I'm not gonna lie, I miss the old face.
Yeah, you come to. The new one's grown on me.
Yeah.
But I do like.
Yeah,
I do like the old face still.
All right. There we go. I was trying to do a drum roll better. Number one.
What was your number?
Number one.
My number 2 was Spider-Man.
Oh, that's
yeah. I know.
Number 1 game of the year for all three of us. We're going to go around the table, starting with Austin. Austin, what is your game of the year for 2023?
No surprise. Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh shit! Because it's a 3, right? Because 3 at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What? No, Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing storytelling. They have amazing cutscenes. You can basically do almost anything you can imagine in this world. There's a bunch of characters that you can get into, a bunch of side story stuff. Somehow they've created dialogue for each character, for each potential possible outcome. So like some characters die and people respond to that. And then, if you don't have, you could play this game probably a million times and come up with like a whole new story each time because the way people respond to you and what has happened in the world. And that's like an amazing feat. And from where it's come from the beta to now is just phenomenal. Because did you play it in the beta?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We play like 8 hours, I think, in the beta.
Yeah, we put a lot of time in that small little area. There's this very small area that you get to play in. And I was like, wow. I didn't think you could put that much time in the beta. And yes, we definitely said there's issues with it and needed to change and evolve, and it has. And there are some issues with the game, which I think have been fixed now, especially with Act 3 being undercooked, according to a lot of people who played it. I've been playing through it now because I haven't beat it either because there's just so much in this game. And I'm still having just as much fun. There's just as much to do. There's just so many choices. Like that's where I stopped in the game. Like you get the third act, and it's like, how are you going to get to the end now? There's like all these choices to make, and none of them seem right. So it's just kind of like, which path are you going down, and you're just going to suffer the consequences. So I finally made up my mind, and I've been traversing that and trying to complete everyone's all your companion side quests. It's insane, and the music's great. Like there's I don't know how many different outcomes, endings to the game that they said potentially. It's just a ridiculous amount, and for it to just out of the gate to work so well is a feat in itself for any game at this point. So, game of the year, well deserved.
Is that your number one?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to let Jason close us out here because my number one is also Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. Do you want to say anything, or you just go?
I'm going to continue saying rather than just like
just take
rather
over.
than him jumping in and then I'll jump in and then I'll let Jason finish with his number one. So Baldur's Gate 3 is also my number one for a lot of what Austin said, but like there is a, you know how like in like Christianity there's like BCE and there's CE, right?
Yeah.
Before the Common Era and after the Common Era.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're entering an era where we're now going before Baldur's Gate and after Baldur's Gate in gaming. And now every game moving forward is going to have to compare itself to that of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing an RPG, because this game has done the thing that was previously thought of as impossible.
It's not even AAA developer. It's a triple I.
Yeah. And to think that this game, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of gaminess to this game, a lot of mechanics to it. The fact that like you open up your map and you can like see where all the boundary boxes are. It's not a big open world. I mean, it's an open world technically, but it's like it's pathways and stuff like that. But like, I'm at 72 hours now, I think, is where I just hit. And I like about to enter in Act 3. Haven't beat it yet, but I am absolutely loving it. I do agree there's been some people that say like Act 2 feels like it takes away a lot of the choice that you had from Act 1. Like it still feels a little bit more linear in the story, but there's still a lot of shit that I was like, oh, fuck. Like I've been saving a lot because I'm getting outcomes. I'm like, I don't want that outcome. Go back. And I know that's a morally gray area, but I'm like, I doubt I'm going to be able to play this game twice because it's so big. So I want to make sure I get the best possible ending I can have. But the crazy thing, it's like literally every 5 minutes I'm running into those encounters where like I had a moment where I was like, failed a combat scenario and literally I think would have destroyed my whole half of my second act had I continued down that path. So I kept reloading the save so I didn't lose that battle, which took me 7 tries. And then eventually I finally got it. And I was like, thank God, because it really would have made a huge impact on that whole second act, which is like, I put like, I think 20 hours in the second act already. And it's just like insane. Like, but the character build, just like the fact that it's so close to D&D, I love so much because I can like communicate that to people that are fresh to it and like talk well on it, which is nice because like I jump into these deep systems games, I'm like, I don't know anything about this game, but because I played enough D&D, I can actually like talk confidently about like what the different dice rolls mean and what these different initiatives are and like all the different like perception checks and whatnot. And I find that to be really cool that it's like kind of like a inner language that I can like share to people that don't have exposure to that language.
Yeah.
But
and 90% of this is like narrated.
Yeah, 100%.
Like everything you do, a woman is narrating like everything. I'm like, every possible outcome, every possible thing you can imagine that you're going to do in the story and stuff is narrated.
I found a hairless cat the other day, and I was like, I'm going to take a potion of animal speaking and talk to this cat. And this cat's name was Steel Claw. And he was like, but this one I toy with. I slice, I tear. When the time is right, I will bite his head off and bathe in its innards. That was from a fucking cat that I talked to that I would have normally not talked to if I didn't have the ability to talk to that cat.
Yep.
And I was like, there was a whole like
Most
dialogue
animals,
tree there.
have a whole like story.
And I'm just
stuff.
like, the fact that exists.
Yeah.
And like, there was a moment where like, I mean, like there's literally moments where you can cut off an entire like tree of conversation with a side character or like a side character. I accidentally said the wrong thing to Shadowheart and she started fighting me and I would have had to kill her.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, resave. Let me know how to save. Because I'm romancing her right now. So I can't lose her.
Her and Lizelle early on were literally at each other's throats with knives. And I had to step in and then I forgot what happened. But then like I think I went a little farther on, like the next night I slept, Lizelle ended up killing me.
Oh shit! Yeah, damn. Well, I like.
And then it ended the game, and I was like, "Fuck!"
Jesus.
when I started my first solo run, because you and all of us had like started different campaigns, and I went off and created my own character that was gonna be my solo character, and I went into the first like Illithid crash ship or whatever, and saw an Illithid down there, and said something, and the Illithid came up and killed me, and I like permadeath.
Yeah,
it's like and I didn't save. So I learned really quickly I had to save more often.
all the time.
I had to go back and do the first like not the very very beginning, but I had to do like 30 minutes again. So upset. But
I like how we played something. It's kind of like in Remnant 2, like we played something
and it's something
then
different.
We played with you and your story, and a completely different outcome. Not even
enjoyable.
in the realm of what my possibilities thought could happen. And it was just like, holy, okay, we're doing this. And it was great.
well, and I'm so curious, like going down that pathway, because like I'm deep in Act 2, and there's moments where I interact with both the tieflings and the little like goblin characters. So with what you did, I'm curious if that probably doesn't exist in Act 2 because of what you did in Act 1. Like that's what's like so interesting. It's like these aren't just like little micro nuances that have an impact. Like they literally
domino
like,
effect, butterfly
I did
effect.
one thing and like all of a sudden I got like journal update, and all of a sudden all these quests just disappeared because of an action that I took in the game that I couldn't complete anymore. I was like, man, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So
There's dialogue trees for like every character. They will comment or won't comment on things that you have done. So like you don't know what you're missing unless you play the game again.
yeah.
And that's just, who would have thought that it could be even possible?
And I love how like how rich the characters are. Like it's one of those things that I've realized like you have to play this game like in a solo run because you want to be able to have these characters. Oh no. Well, I mean like you need to like definitely like I think you should start one fresh with just like all the AI in your team because like there's so much story and dialogue, and there's whole like story quests that last all the way to Act 3 that involve the characters that are in your party. And like I'm swapping them out at different points because I want to see more of their story and interact more with that experience. And like Asterian's story is so rich and deep, and he's such an interesting character with his dialogue. And Karlak, I'm like finding like a really strong interest in her background and story. And Shadowheart's got all these conflicts with her inner self of like, should I follow Lady Shara? Should I not? Like, what am I going to do? But then I'm also like having a relationship with Brett's character because he's so cool. So like, there's this happening. And then Lizelle over here, she's got her whole thing with the Githyanki crash and like all that shit going down. And then you got freaking Will out there, and you got freaking Gale who's like, I need more magic. And then he's having his whole crazy thing. And then you got the freaking dog that shows up who gives you shit all the time. I'm like, there's so much to this game. It's unreal.
Basically every little detail has been placed in the exact points and are able to move to your decisions. Like what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we are living in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world right now.
We 100% are, and I fucking love it. It's so good.
Game of the century. Like literally, it might be. Game of the century.
I mean, it's going to be on my top games of all time list for sure.
Well, they only expected like 20,000 to like maybe 80,000 people. No, not even 80. Like maybe 50,000. Like they were just hoping for that. Right. And they made it to like the top 5 on Steam charts, I think. Let's see. They are sitting at number 5 on most played top games.
Fucking Power World, man.
I know Power World is at the top with over 1 million.
I also am surprised that PUBG is still number 4 right now. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 had a total of over 127,000. Oh wait, that's hours. Peak players was
127 million hours total played.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hours.
Peak players was 300,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Baldur's Gate 3, my game of the year. Fucking love this game. Gonna keep playing it. Having a blast.
All-time peak was 870,000 players.
Yep.
Amazing.
All right, Jason. It's time to bring us home. Number one, the pressure is on.
Yeah, the pressure is on.
Like,
What is your game of the year?
Pressure at anything. It's Alan Wake 2.
Yeah,
Like,
buddy.
I love that game. I still love that game, and don't get me wrong. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is great and all, but like it's just too much stuff to it. And this one gave me Alan Wake 2 gave me a lot. The story was phenomenal. The updated graphics, the gameplay alone. I enjoyed playing as Alan, and I enjoyed playing as Saga. Just going through their campaign and how both of them played similar but very different. And then just figuring out things with Saga and her like jumping into Alan's world. Just like mind bending, and she's kind of accepting it. And then you're trying to figure out Saga's background and like, how does she have these abilities? And then on top of that, dealing with Remedy, connecting it with Control, Max Payne, and fucking just going through all of this and having this one connected almost universe that it is in. It's just like,
Who's the cop guy?
Sam Lake.
No. No, the other one from
the one that plays Quantum Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw his storyboard, or like, because when you first see him, he has stuff written on a whiteboard, and he's talking about himself
Oh, yeah.
from that game.
That game.
He's like, I've seen myself, but it's
Inception.
not me.
And
it's like from a
it's just
different
like-
reality. I was like, oh shit,
and
that's
like
the
all
stuff.
that just interconnected is just like, I've played these games before. I know what they're
Yeah.
talking about, and they have an impact on this game. And you're like, man, and it just makes me want to play more of their games, you know? And like Brett said, I'm super happy they were nominated for Game of the Year, and I'm super happy they won Best Story because they deserved it all the way. Not knocking Baldur's Gate, but it's not, it is a storytelling game, but it's just not, the players decide the story of that one. This one is by someone, and how in depth it was.
Finally
It was just-
crafted.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed every bit of it. And I thought it was a huge improvement compared to the first one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I was very concerned that they will have like survival aspects to it, but I barely even noticed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Alan Wake 2.
Very
Nice.
deserving for sure.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't expect
awesome
that.
Game.
I thought it was gonna be Remnant for you.
No, Remnant was my number 2.
I know.
Oh, you thought Remnant?
I thought, yeah, because the way you've been talking this whole year.
Dude. Remnant 2 is like, but like, it's a multiplayer game, and I can only play it with like another person. It's hard to play by yourself, and there's no difficulty changing on that. Alan Wake 2, I fucking
But wait,
loved.
you also said Alan Wake 2 is hard to play by yourself because it's scary.
You can only play it by yourself, so you have to
Scary.
play it by yourself. But the story kept me going. To
Actually,
play
correction. You can have your friend come over and watch with
Watch
you,
you
so
play.
you
True,
don't
that's
like
true.
lose your mind.
That's
You
what I
know?
did with Brett.
Yeah,
Man, what a year.
I know.
Great games.
A lot of games.
Besides Starfield.
Yeah, it's been a huge year for games. There's a lot on here, a lot of quality, a lot of sequels, which is interesting because I mean sometimes they don't always get on there, but there was definitely a lot of sequels coming through. But it was nice to see such a nice variety of stuff, and I mean I think this year is gonna be not as big, but like still a pretty
Bigger.
big year. So it's gonna be some good stuff. But
We only started. Who knows what's going to actually be announced and come out?
Yeah.
Surprises all along the way, I'm sure.
do y'all feel that this 2023 was the best year of gaming ever?
I mean,
Maybe something you have to go back and do some research on
Yeah,
that
we
kind
had
of
to-
thing.
you
But
can't
like,
just-
I was like,
You can't just throw
arguably,
that on us like that.
I mean, I'm trying to, man.
you could make an argument that it was definitely.
Yeah,
No.
because it's definitely in the top 3, I think, for sure.
I mean, I feel like 2018 was a pretty big year. With
Yeah.
God of War,
Yeah.
re-release,
Spider-Man. That was Spider-Man too, yeah,
and Spider-Man,
right?
and there's something else that came out too that was big. I
Yeah.
forget.
Red Dead,
Red Dead
Yes.
2.
Red Dead, Spider-Man, and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a big game, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
I think Breath of the Wild came out that year too.
no,
yeah, it
Breath of
did.
the Wild was 2017.
Was it?
Yeah,
You sure?
yeah.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild was a launch title with the Switch, and
Okay.
I had my brain injury the same year the Switch came out. So,
okay, I gotcha.
Dang.
yeah.
Well, cool.
But Super
2017.
Mario Odyssey came out in 2018, I believe. So that was the big Nintendo game that was selling that year.
I got you.
But it was still great. I mean, there's a lot of good shit that year. So good stuff. Well, that's our game of the year 2023. Thank y'all for hanging on with us through all this discussion and conversation. It was a big year. It was a great year. Loved it. So that's going to close out that chapter, and we're going to get excited about 2024 and beyond.
And beyond.